All right, so this is inside our plant here at Blue Ridge Biofuels, and we take vegetable oil and we process that into ASTM quality biodiesel here in the plant. All the vegetable oil we use is recycled vegetable oil, meaning it comes from restaurants, hotels, conference centers, mostly from Western North Carolina, some from outside, but primarily we recycle oil from this region. We've got upwards of 300 restaurants, hotels, conference centers, etc. throughout the region that we collect oil from, and we provide them with it's typically a 300-gallon steel bin. The restaurants then take their fryer oil when it's used and they put it in those bins, and then we will come out on a schedule and with a collection truck, and we'll basically take all that oil out of those bins, and it's basically crude used vegetable oil at that point. And we bring it back to our plant and we clean it up, we reprocess it, we get all the water out, all of the solid materials out. We basically turn it into very clean, filtered vegetable oil that can then be used to produce biodiesel from. So much of the plant is actually dealing with the processing of the vegetable oil, and then a much smaller part of the plant is the actual production of the biodiesel. So there's tanks all through here. Many of these tanks are for heating, for filtering, and for cleaning the vegetable oil before it's actually turned into biodiesel. There's a number of interesting components to this plant. We're obviously in an old industrial part of Asheville in the River Arch District. We heat this entire plant off of a waste product from our production system. It's essentially a free fatty acid oil that goes into our boiler, and that helps actually heat the whole plant. So we're able to recycle and recover our waste products. Almost everything that's made here, either the fuel or the waste products that come out of it, are actually recycled and reused in some way. So back here we have a number of tanks again for handling the fuel and handling the oil. Over here to my left is the actual reactor which makes the fuel. This is called a cavitation reactor. It actually takes the vegetable oil, combines it with methanol and with a catalyst, and actually converts that into biodiesel. And then that goes through a centrifuge and goes through a distillation chamber to take out any residual methanol. And what we're left over with is fuel, the biodiesel fuel, and one of the outputs is glycerin. So those are the two main outputs that come from biodiesel production, the actual fuel and glycerin. The glycerin is actually sold separately as a different commodity, and people use that for a whole range of things, from cosmetics to it's actually used as a fuel source in some cases. So again, most all of our waste products become a product in and of themselves. From here, there's some additional filtering and cleaning of the fuel, and once it's completely finished, it's piped outside to a small tank farm that we have here, which we can then distribute to trucks that come in and get the fuel and deliver it throughout the western part of the state. We've got a number of tanks here that contain biodiesel. Some contain vegetable oil that's heated, that goes into the biodiesel production. And then we also have some petroleum, just regular diesel fuel as well, that's combined with the biodiesel to make blends. These are just storage tanks that hold all those finished products, so that when a delivery truck comes into our rack up here at the front, we can walk up to the front and you can see that. Up here on this platform is the rack, the distribution rack. So trucks from different oil companies can come in and they can purchase directly biodiesel, as well as they can buy the petroleum. We sell the on-road and the off-road diesel fuel here, so we can blend it to anything from a B2 blend, 2% biodiesel, up to a B99 blend. And all that can be distributed right here in bulk to trucks that can then take it off to fueling stations where you can fill your car, or take it off to home heating oil companies that can then distribute the home heating oil, the BioHeat. We're really fortunate, actually, in Western North Carolina. It's one of the few places that customers actually have wide access to biodiesel, and biodiesel in many different blends. It's a pretty rare thing. It's starting to pick up across the country, but quite honestly, there's just not that many places that have this degree of access to this alternative fuel. It's just cleaner.